And we're going into the intro.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Super Desperation Radio! Go!
Huh? That's a good clip.
So before we start anything off, I have to ask you a question, Chris.
What?
Are you double jointed? Because I've never seen a man pat his own back that much before.
I like how he's like, yeah, I hit the CD with Harry once. I probably lost the match though.
No, I won that match. That was the end. Whatever. I don't have to explain myself. I won the match. Fuck
Sure
Wolfhard.
you did.
Fuck Wolfhard.
But how did you do against Metaphysics?
How did I do it? Actually, I pretty much put a boot in his ass last night.
We confirmed Abe uses an aimbot while he's playing KOF, so
He had to turn it on after I OCV'd him. Bad. I mean, I understand why. You can't lose to me. Losing to me is the worst thing in the world.
He did.
But boy, that aimbot is so good. Like this man had 1% health, and then he hit every single projectile. He had every DP, he had every super, he had every link, every combos. It was a thing of beauty. And then I found out he was hacking us. Piece of shit.
I know. That's I haven't lost any respect for him. In fact, I might have gained a couple of respect points for him, but still disappointed.
no, you didn't.
No,
Don't
I
lie.
didn't. I didn't lose anything because I won.
Yeah. I'm uploading that to my YouTube channel right now.
You are?
It's taking a long time because it's doing it through Twitch, but it should be up by tonight, I think, because it was 6 hours of footage.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say it was taking so long because YouTube couldn't actually believe that Chris won something.
It was like, hold on, is this like real footage? Are you sending us fake shit?
But yeah, it's
I had like a 6-win streak.
You probably did. I mean, I can't remember. I know like all of us went on win streaks last night. Whether it was like 2 or 3 win streaks or whatever.
Last night was the night that you guys realized that if you roll out of the Nelson vortex, I can just like hit a button in a direction and whatever side it just picks it for me.
I just blocked.
You could block. That's a good idea.
Whoa, blocking?
I don't know what blocking
You
is.
should have tried.
It's like a stage play. I
I just
blocked.
do wake up rock bottom.
Alright.
Fine.
You could
No,
block.
you're all wrong.
You probably should have blocked, but you didn't block.
How do you block? There's A, which is punch, B, which is kick, C, which is punch, D, which is kick. There's up, down, left, right, and then the combination of those. There is no block button.
I don't think Dinosaur has a
cannot
block
block.
button. I don't think Dinosaur has a block.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't block at all. I mean, he does stuff and he just eats it.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like Maxima, you know?
No, it's better than Maxima
It's really better than Maxima?
Yeah, kind of.
because he eats things. Maxima just shoots at things, and shoots laser beams.
That's true, and his punishes
I
aren't
don't know. Are
actually
you
that
trying
fast.
to tell me that a dinosaur is better than laser beams? I'm not really sure I'm on track. With
Well,
this.
let's say this: dinosaurs are extinct, but Ichiro is still throwing to third. So, I mean,
What?
You don't get it, Paul?
I really don't.
Ichiro throws lasers to third.
yeah,
Oh,
he's a right fielder, and he throws like fastball like pitches to third base and gets people out.
Ah, excellent. Sports ball.
But yeah, so it's gonna be 6 hours of footage. It's featuring Lord Walkman, me, Hell Pockets, Ringe,
The Lunatic
and
Ringe.
Metaphysics.
the lunatic.
Yeah, the Lunatic Ringe.
I just want you guys
just
to know
any
right
Ringe.
now, off the top, I want you guys to know, and you can tweet Ringe this, you congratulate him on having the best, most educational KOF session of his life.
Yeah,
last
he
night.
had the best players teaching him how to play King of Fighters 14 last night.
Definitely.
He learned more. Okay, he learned more in those 6 hours than Wild Wallace has learned his entire KOF career.
You know what's funny? You're not even joking. You're not even joking.
No,
right
I'm
now.
not.
You're not even bullshitting. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's true. Like, 100%. Like, all right, so there's definitely something to be said about, like, you know, playing somebody seriously. Obviously, Tony, you talked about this once when you went to that Manteca tournament with LeBron, and you thought that maybe he might have been screwing around with people a little too much, and they weren't learning anything. And that's a valid concern. But at the same time, once you get a little bit past that, then you kind of want to get a little bit of that experience with, like, how crazy can people get in this game, right? Like, if they just didn't give a shit, you know? And so Renz got that for 6 hours last night.
He got put into the grinder, man. Like, it was bad.
He appreciated it, though.
No, yeah,
he told people, like, hold on here, let me get this exact quote. Give me a moment. All right, his exact quote is, "This is why I just play Dota. These are the people I have to play fighting games with." Now, he's saying that we are too good for him. No. We are the most powerful players for the King of Fighters, so he's got to stick to Dota because, you know, it's hard trying to keep up with us. It's very hard.
It was just funny how he was just like, "You're all a bunch of crazy people," but then he added to that, "Don't change how you're playing, though. I mean, this is fine. It's just like, holy crap, like, you know, essentially you guys are just wild.
Just do stuff.
Yeah,
I just want to play Abe."
Yeah.
He's like, I blocked your super, but then you just did another super.
Or you could be like Chris and just cancel one super and another one. I'm the smartest man ever.
I mean, I got to do that because otherwise the one super isn't safe. So I'm just like, well, why would I let him punish me when I can just, you know, just put more chip damage on him? Because what else am I going to do? They're not bad decisions if they work, is all I'm saying.
Look, if I play,
we've always said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you hit it, you're the best.
I'm the best.
Yeah. Look, I play Anka Rangel. She's got 5 meters. That's 5 rock bottoms. Like, statistically speaking, one of those has to work.
One of those has to work, and once the one hits, like, all the momentum and the opponent's momentum is gone.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know why they got hit.
I need to ask, Alex, did you say Anka Rangel?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so I had to be sure. I'm like, did you do that? All right.
That's how we say it in Spanish.
Is it?
I don't know.
I thought it was. Okay.
Is it?
All right, so I've got this last bite of a protein bar left. You guys talk while I eat this thing.
Protein bar. Anyway, welcome to another exciting episode of Super Desperation Radio, where we're going to be talking to that man that you see below me right now. I didn't put the right overlay up at the beginning, but why not? He needs no introduction. Actually, we can't even see his face, so he might.
We're not going to
get his guess.
You're not going to get who it is. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
No one will ever figure it out.
Yeah.
Who could it be?
Just guessed.
Even though we tweeted out earlier.
People don't read.
Did we? I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
Gibby
Yeah,
did.
I'm people, I think.
You're giving yourself
Kinda.
a ton of credit today, man.
But we got a lot of stuff happening this week. We had another Capcom premiere event go down this weekend, and I think I'm not alone when I say that they probably should be spread out a little bit more than they have been this year. Although it's great for me because my pick to go to qualify qualified twice. Bruce Almighty, Gamer B, takes home another qualification spot for Capcom Pro Tour Finals. I should have put money on it. But I'll tell you this.
He's playing, what's his name?
Nakali.
He's playing the other guy who has a really good standing roundhouse. I literally saw him playing Nakali and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
It does, and the weird thing was like he DP'd a lot, and whenever I saw Gamer B playing Adon, like, it was only DP as part of a combo. It wasn't a reversal option. So the fact that he kind of has that at his disposal was just sort of just like, you know, oh man, I've been waiting all year for this, you know. And he got to fight Punko in Grand Finals.
I wanted it for so long.
Yeah, he had to fight Punko at TGS, and he's just like, you know what, just gonna do it. I've been wanting to do this for years, and you're the kind of guy that's gonna let me do it, so I'm just gonna do it.
I think a lot of people just wanting to pay Punko back for the DPs over the years.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of people want to pay back Punko for those DPs, man. I'm pretty sure Daigo's just like, just let me get him uppercut one more time, please. Think your Seth is good. Anyway, congratulations to Bruce Almighty. Congratulations from Bruce.
Listen here, Overfoot.
Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty, the best KOF player.
Very quiet.
The best Street Fighter
Jab
player in the world.
anti-airs.
He's my very favorite Street Fighter player.
Please no, Steffi.
Please, no.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You guys are going too far.
The whole thing that you were talking about with the Capcom premiere events being too close to each other. This is like it was the first or the second year Evo did seeding points, and they had an event every goddamn week.
Oh yeah.
And that's what it was. And you had people like, say, Justin Wong. He traveled to every tournament that year.
Wait, was that him or was that Wolfcrone? Because I remember he did that one year too.
Wolfcrone only plays online and complains.
I mean, back then
Justin Wong travels and does stuff.
But remember, there was that one year where he was at the top seed and like he went to like hella tournaments and got hella points and then didn't even get top 8 or some shit.
That sounds like every year.
I mean, yeah. Man, what are we doing with our lives?
Doing this podcast.
Yeah, we're the smart ones. Yeah. We don't spend money to go to places. And
we let people spend money so we could talk about them and judge them.
Speaking of which, check out our Patreon.
Yeah,
we don't have one.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Maybe soon. It's working. I got it.
We need to start the GoFundMe to get our Patreon going.
Don't worry, that's what I'm working on. I've got the proposal for the GoFundMe in a different tab right now. Okay, it's saying we need to get $500 in order to start the Patreon. The whole point of getting the $500 to start the Patreon is me needing $500 to actually motivate myself to do the Patreon.
So do we need to kickstart the GoFundMe to get the Patreon though?
No, okay, I already tried that. Kickstarter won't approve.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Assholes.
You know what Kickstarter will approve though? A $500 goddamn Kickstart thing for a SNES holder. It holds 10 Super Nintendo games in like 3mm plastic, and it's worth $30 goddamn dollars. And all they asked for is $500.
Oh,
They said, they said we need $500. This says we need $500 to cover the cost of the first production, but they're selling each for $30. That sounds like a massive profit, if you ask me.
Oh wow! You're right. So we're gonna have our first SDR related merchandise. They're actually going to be Jordans. The new SDR Jordans. They start at $1,500.
They're actually Jurgens. They're not quite Jordans.
They're from Germany.
Oh,
yeah. And then we also have the SDR coat. Only one is available. It's $3,500.
$3,500 for the coat.
Yes, and it's high quality. I purchased it from Walmart one time, and I just rebranded it under SDR. So $3,500.
Not bad.
It's a good coat.
I think that's a good.
Yeah, we stitched Watch SDR on the back of it.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't stitch it. I ironed it on.
No, we stitched. I put extra stitching with your hair, so you know.
Oh yeah, there you go. And my hair, I don't know if you guys know, my hair just lasts like an extra long time. It's good, really good.
So get yours today. Support us, and we'll give you the link in probably 4 months.
Yeah.
You can buy it all.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
Wow, I just got a wonderful tweet. Okay.
I actually was going to say, if you had any questions for us or our guest that will be appearing later tonight, you can tweet them at SDRcast on Twitter, and we will read them off to him, and he has to answer them.
Yes. Now, speaking of this, I do want to bring this up. Every time we have a guest, I try to get you, the people, to interact with the guest. Ask questions, do stuff. Please don't do it through Twitch chat. Just don't.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. I'm not even looking at it.
Tweet to us. Unless we say Twitch chat is fine, just tweet at us. It's easier that way. And on top of that, I'll look at Twitch chat. Twitch chat. You guys don't even ask anything in Twitch chat. Just make fun of us, which is fine. Yeah, right? No, it's fine. I just want people to interact with them. God damn it. Be nice.
Hold on, let me just send that up on Twitter real quick. Should have did this earlier. Got it.
Marlo, soon, possibly. We'll see. I just keep looking over at Twitter and someone just keeps retweeting booty. I like this. Thank you.
It's not tone because it's like
no, it's not tone. It's not anime booty.
Yeah,
it's real. It's actual women, not like
the
little anime
cartoons
girls.
are women too,
rocking everywhere.
But we had a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Other than EGX, we also had the I guess CEO Taku hit its marks for a couple of pop bonuses. So Blaze Blue getting the $500
$5 pop bonus.
Damn, I am getting banned from CEO Taku.
The $5 pop bonus is fine as long as we can still get big boxes. So you know, Popeyes, here we go.
The big box is a national treasure. Jesus.
Oh yeah, it's a treasure box. That's what we can say.
So that's cool. I don't know if KOF 14 is getting a pop bonus. Does anybody hear about that?
No.
No, not at all.
Not that I know of.
They're getting good numbers though.
Yeah,
KOF 14 I think had 140.
It was around there. I was thinking it was
Okay,
either
here you go.
135, 145,
Yeah,
something like that.
here's all the numbers. Exerd 232. What is it called? Central Fiction.
Yeah, Central Fiction.
153. KOF 14. 123. Skullgirls 70. Melty Blood 69. Uniel 68.
Nice.
DFC 51, plus R 46, Persona 44, Catherine 27, Nitro Plus 26, Koihime 25, Arcana Heart 21, VSAV 19, which really upsets me, and Aquapaza at 16.
Actually, a lot of these numbers are not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. I want to see if I can find last year's numbers for gear. Do you guys know if this is bigger than last year?
I'm pretty sure it's bigger, but I could be wrong.
Okay. But yeah, it's a good good numbers for this. Like CEO Taku doesn't consider itself to be a major. This is a tournament without Street Fighter in it, and what generally happens with a lot of tournaments, Street Fighter people come in or people come in for Street Fighter and then they enter other games as well, just because they're there only for Street Fighter.
Well, the other
they're like,
thing
you know what? I'm here. Let's play other games too. What's up, Chris?
The other thing is it's considered not a major because not necessarily because Street Fighter's not there, because the sponsor situation isn't necessarily the biggest. So CEO Taku, from as far as I know, is a completely community run event, unlike CEO proper, which has a bunch of bells and whistles behind it. Not that CEO Taku eventually won't get that way if it continues to grow, but right now it's all Jabali and people from Florida. So that money is coming out of their pockets as far as I know.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily need Street Fighter V to make your major legit. It helps, obviously, but Jabali is pretty much dead set on proving that you can run a large event without the, what would you call it, the media darling of the FGC.
Well, I'd say what you basically would consider that sort of like the anchor game for most players would consider that the anchor game of a tournament.
Right, exactly. So that was basically the idea around CEO Taku, was just that, hey, we're gonna run the games that people want to play, and a lot of people want to play anime games. And the debate over whether or not KOF is anime or not, I feel like
it's anime. There's no debate.
I know. I think it's anime too, but it's like a lot of people.
No. I'm just gonna put this here. You say you think it's anime. I'm telling you it's anime.
No,
I know it's anime.
Well, it's anime now because of Shunei.
No, it has been.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
You can't say it's anime now. No, it is. It is anime before anime. It is anime's grandfather or father.
So
how do you want to put it?
So you're basically saying you're the original otaku.
Son of a.
Yeah, I got him, guys. We did it. Shut it down. We're done.
Damn, you guys got hella got by Chris.
Either way,
take that hat off.
Never gonna live that one down.
The debate's over.
Get string gun now.
Yeah, the debate's over. No need to continue debating over anything at all. Just keep watching us. Tell people to come here and watch us.
Yeah, tell everybody to come here and watch us, because we're gonna have our own debate about stuff, namely around. Man, I keep bringing up Street Fighter V, but you know what? Capcom has been in the news all week. Tournaments.
They've certainly managed to keep the game at the top of the headlines.
Yes, I would say that in a time where people, would you say that people are sort of a little conflicted about how they feel about the game? You got a new character.
I'll be honest with you. Seriously do not pay as much attention to the average Twitter noise about SF5 these days, because I intentionally checked out. So, when you see the big stuff happen, of course everybody sees that. But on average, I really tend to not think about Street Fighter V.
Well, there's so many.
But I bet you Street Fighter V thinks about you.
Yeah, it actually does.
Street Fighter V is creepy.
It's very.
It is creepy. It has to be creepy.
You got to make sure you don't cheat on that fight money. Got to earn it.
Damn, that was good.
I always feel like Street Fighter's watching me.
I mean, Like Capcom must have just been like, "Hey guys, I heard you guys love Infiltration. Well, now it's in your Street Fighter V."
Oh no!
Really?
Yes, I've been saving that all week.
Just you had you was like you were sitting on that joke for a few days, weren't you?
He definitely said it or tweeted it out. I forgot when.
I put it in chat in the Discord chat like a week ago.
That's what it was. Yeah. I'm like, that's gonna be on the show for sure.
It's gotta be.
He had that one written on his hand too, just make sure he didn't forget it.
Oh man.
People like artificial insemination. What are they? Like?
I'm not trying to give Capcom too hard of a time because that's for our guest to do later on if he feels like it. But I mean, obviously everybody knows about what happened now, and I'm not going to get too much into it because that's actually a topic that we're going to discuss later on when all 6 of us are present. But yeah, man, like I don't know if that gets any worse.
I don't think it can.
Yeah.
Like outside of Capcom actually going into your house and like stealing your dog or something.
Yeah, I was about to say kicking your dog.
You know, and the thing is like I keep expecting to wake up and be told by Capcom that it's not as bad as we thought it was. They've been like pretty silent about it since the release. And obviously there's going to be a what do they call it? A recall? Like you have to recall a fucking patch. Wow.
Which I mean, I'll say this. That was done very quickly.
Yeah.
Like within hours or like a day almost. I can't remember the exact timeline, but it was very quick for what we've come to expect Capcom's like ridiculous time to address anything. Like we don't get any kind of remarks on why shit's done, if stuff is intentional, why any of this happens. Like, remember when people were talking about 8 frames and people were like, is this intentional? Is this developer by design? And we're looking at it. Mm-hmm. And now, that's fine. That's the game. That's, that's the gameplay. That's whatever. If you enjoy it, do that. But when you start talking about people's security and you're just like, hey, we took it away. Yeah, it's fine. We're all cool now. And it's like, no, why? Like, there's nothing here being done for the consumer. Like, not even a simple, hey, we screwed up. We had one intern that was completely in charge of, making sure you guys can't get hitboxes or free colors. And the best way he thought to, keep you guys from doing it was to, put in malware into your computer. Here's enough money to get free colors for one of your characters. Like, not even that. It's just we released malware into the environment for PC Street Fighter V, and now we took it away. Bye. Woo, we're gone. Yeah, this never happened. It's just, they just wave their hands in front of you. It's like, it's all cool, right, guys? Rise up.
What's hilarious too is, of course, that has basically obscured the release of Urian, which people have been talking about, obviously, because a lot of the people who had him on PC had been playing this character for months, and then he actually got released, and everybody said that he was going to be different, and don't get too attached to all these different things you have with the pre-release Urian, and people were still like, he doesn't have this anymore. It's like, come on, guys. We already knew this was going to happen.
He needs a special input in order to get the thong.
Which I'm actually surprised they did. Like,
yeah.
So
it's like, oh, you added something really neat for the fans. Like, that's cool. Like, it's like, hey guys, it's like, remember Urian with the thong? Yeah, you can remove his clothes just like we can remove your computer security. Whoa. You like unblockables? Your computer can't block now either.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I hit the back of the head, like. So I'm hearing so apparently that doesn't not only work for Urian. Apparently it works for other characters, specifically characters with the summer outfits. Because I was at C2B last Thursday, or excuse me, C2 the B, and there was a Chun-Li player playing with her summer beach outfit, and I don't know what he did, but he hit some button combination during a versus screen, and the skirt was definitely off.
Yeah, doesn't Urian even have like where he burns off his suit, much like his older Trony, just in the jock strap?
Like it was like that's part they animated it, right? But in the version I saw with Chun-Li, like it just appeared, like she started out and it just wasn't there anymore. So people were like, "Whoa, what happened to her skirt? Like, is it a glitch?" Like, and so apparently, I'm told by a friend that was there that it's possible for all sorts of characters. Like, you can do it with Laura, and she like takes her shirt off or some shit.
So it's a feature where like you have slightly altered costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like that. And then they were like, "Hey, let's just do it for Urien and just burn his clothes off."
I will say this
I'm gonna need some confirmation of this. I don't want this to turn into some Shenlong shit.
Yeah, no, it's like I heard Paul. I heard if you pick Birdie on the screen and you hold up and down at the same time, he becomes a Bobo and you can throw him.
I believe it's a light punch, medium kick, heavy punch. It's like with the same code that they always do.
Yeah, it might work with like everybody. Is all I know.
Yeah, go test that out. It's like a 2-minute thing.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's for everybody, but I definitely saw like a.
I was told it has to be the summer outfits though. Like,
Really? I saw a Twitch clip for Urien from L.I. Joe stream where his suit burned off and then he was just.
I have a complaint about that actually. So, the Pillar of Flame is obviously replaced, right? Like he doesn't have that wind pose anymore. Yeah, no, and he has the kind of the super where it's the pillar of like metallic energy that he uses in Third Strike. Because his entire thing is that Gil is controlling fire and ice. And Urien can control earth and lightning or earth and wind or whatever. So you have that metallic energy, which he uses for all his attacks in 5. But it still burns off the suit.
Well, technically,
Shouldn't it be like metallic energizing the suit away? Like, come on, guys. Where's the consistency?
I mean, it depends on what you consider like magma. Is it earth or fire?
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. You got to imagine with the amount of energy put through some sort of metallic force will generate heat.
So you're telling me with enough metallic energy, an Armani suit's just gonna like vaporize away?
I mean,
if it becomes plasma, yeah. I mean, it could get really hot.
I don't like plasma, Jesus.
Plasma blade.
He's Earth, Wind, and Fire, and he's gonna groove tonight.
Well, I'm okay with that.
Problem solved.
I mean, it's technically still September.
I like it. I dig that. 10 out of 10.
Honestly, I was just really confused why for his super, it's not the flame pillar.
Well, because it never was. The reason it was the flame pillar is that was just a sprite from Warzard that they stole from their own assets. It's actually.
Is that true? I didn't even realize that.
No, it is. It is.
Companies do that all the time.
Yeah, if you look at Genji or Kenji or whatever the ninja's name was in Warzard, he has a super where he summons a pillar of flame. It's the exact same animation. All they did was put Urien Sprite in the middle of it for Third Strike.
Nice.
It's not even like they altered it in like any other way where it's like a slightly different color. No, it's just Sprite for Sprite with a shadow in the middle of it.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's why like he never was probably supposed to have it. Like he probably was supposed to have like the metallic energy thing, but it's like.
And they just ran out of time or something?
Yeah.
No, that sounds about right.
Hey man, time is the one thing you can't control when you're making video games, apparently.
Yeah.
Unless you're making Chrono Trigger, because man, no flaws.
It's okay. You just go back in time.
Exactly. They just went back in time. Like, we fucked up. We'll just fix that over there.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you don't run into that Lavos character. Oof.
No, running into the Lavos is fine. It's the Dream Eater that you don't want to fucking run into.
But what if you run into the Dream Master?
That game's pretty good.
That game's amazing.
Yeah.
Chucking candy at everything?
Yeah. It's got a good anime movie too. You fucking nerd.
Yeah, something about bananas and pajamas, right?
What? I don't know.
Are they marching down the stairs?
Oh, no. Stop, please. I can't. I just forgot about that song like 2 minutes ago.
We brought it back. Everything old is new again, Chris.
Oh, my God. So where's our guest anyway?
I think he died.
He said he's going to let us know when
he's ready to go?
He's ready.
Okay.
He's trying hard. He's trying to mask his voice because people aren't supposed to know who he is. This is supposed to be, one of those. What do they call them? Interviews. Yeah, it's supposed to be one of those interviews.
It's one of those people where it's like you got to like shadow his face out and like he talks with like the really deep voice. So why?
The only thing we can tell you is that it's definitely not Zenak.
So there I was listening. I definitely can tell you all the rhythm that Low Strong was pushed to.
So I was actually gonna say, have any of us actually like messed around with Urien at all?
Nope.
I haven't touched him.
He looks really neat.
Do any of us play Street Fighter V?
Not since KO14 came out.
No, it's not have you. It's do any of us play Street Fighter 5?
Currently, no.
I mean, I guess I do because I have a Karen, but that's it.
Do you not play?
Not anymore because KOF 14.
Because you play KOF. Interesting. Interesting how this has happened, Chris. It's almost as if there is bias.
I mean, there might be like, all right. So here's the thing. Like, I told myself that I was gonna play both games. Like, real talk. I was just gonna be, all right. There's no reason why I can't play Street Fighter 5 and KOF 14. I've done multiple games in the past. It's definitely not a no sweat for me. And I wasn't even bothered by Street Fighter 5's netcode issues. Like, I was like, you know what? Every now and then you get a good match with somebody, and it makes it totally worth it. And I even got to commentate Street Fighter 5 at DreamHack in Austin. I hope to do it again sometime because the guy I worked with told me, like, dude, we should do it again. Nothing's changed about the game. It's exactly the same damn thing that you played about 8 months ago. So I don't know why I stopped playing. I wasn't mad at the game. I don't dislike it. And it was before King of Fighters 14 came out. I don't know.
It just didn't hold your attention.
Maybe, yeah. I think it just straight up didn't hold my attention. And I'm not sure if that's like a dig on the game or just my low attention span, Like, I wasn't doing anything else. I had stopped playing Overwatch.
It's just reached a point where it feels to been there, done that for you.
Possibly. So here's the thing that I've been noticing that's been popping up recently is a lot of people, like top players like Shin, PR Balrog, a lot of people are just like sort of speaking about things that they don't like about the game, and their complaints aren't like this game sucks, it can't be fixed, we need to wait for Street Fighter 6, nothing that bad, right?
Yeah.
Basically, they're just like, this game's really bland. Like,
yeah, I definitely saw the Xian. I guess what was that? An AMA he participated in?
Yeah, it's like an essay.
Speaking of people who have
looking at it.
Opinions on the game, Chris, would you like to introduce our guest?
Oh, our guest is ready to go. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to welcome our Super Desperation Radio special guest, Mike Z. Welcome to the show, sir.
All right, he's muted.
Mm-hmm.
He'll figure it out. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't fuck it up.
You can come on now, Mike.
Any minute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Oh, why can't I hear it? Oh no!
Oh God.
Well,
okay, well he can't hear us.
Technical difficulties.
He can't hear us. He can't see.
Did he join the right chat?
Yeah, he's in the right
He's
one.
in the right chat.
Maybe.
I have to restart Discord. So.
Who?
Wait.
Scary as fuck.
All right. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Hey. Oh.
You alright?
That's promising. Are you? Yeah, is everything okay?
No, look, guys. He just realized he's on SDR, and he's like, "Shit, what have I got myself into?"
Yeah, why did I?
This isn't the fray.
Oh no!
Oh wow.
Where's Derry?
Where's
Magnus?
anymore?
What did happen to Megan?
He like commentated Street Fighter 5 once.
Good for him.
I don't remember when. Yeah.
I actually thought that was some of his best work in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good.
But anyway.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about politics, but when you get done with this, you should watch the debate.
Oh my God, no! Please.
I don't need to put myself through that hell right now.
I'm sure.
So hi.
All right. Well, all right. So since you brought up the debate, obviously give us a preview.
What?
No,
let's not engage this whatsoever. No.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk? Okay, you don't have to talk about it. That is the one thing you don't have to talk about on the show.
It was the least professional presidential debate or debate of any kind, because I was in debate in college, that I've ever seen.
That's not promising.
That was my bet. I made $200.
With what?
That it was going to be super unprofessional.
Oh yeah. Oh, I couldn't even interrupting people, talking over the moderator, telling the moderator they were wrong. Trump's campaign. Trump said he didn't say something, so people dug up his tweet of him saying it, and then during the debate, his Twitter account deleted the tweet.
Yo!
That pretty much sums up everything.
Did they screenshot that shit? Oh man, welcome to 2016, Trump.
It if you haven't seen Idiocracy, it's worth watching the first half.
I really enjoy the idea that they think they can hide it by deleting the tweet. Like, here's evidence that it was never posted from C user document.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, then there are screenshots of the tweet in the background with "cannot find this tweet" like as a message box. I just
Rip.
Right.
Anyway.
Well,
You're not here to talk about that. You're here to talk
something
about
that's not
the things that we love. The thing that we love more than anything else in the world, other than maybe our own children, well, my own child. Video games.
Cocoa Krispies.
Oh man, Cocoa Krispies. I haven't had
Wait,
Cocoa
is that
Krispies.
really your go-to? Like, just a quick aside here. Is that really your go-to cereal?
I had it this morning. Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty good.
Just checking.
Also surprisingly good is Kellogg's Crave, which is spelled with a K and has the worst box art and back of the box I've ever seen.
yeah.
But the cereal is actually really good. The double chocolate version. I like chocolate.
is it like Mortal Kombat? It's got the K
Yeah.
in it, right?
Yeah.
Kellogg's Mortal Kombat Crave,
How many calories
made with
does
the
it have?
spines of the enemies.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Moving
Anyway,
on
we're here to
slightly-
talk about. Let's get to what we're actually here to talk about, which is SF5 and all of the hoopla, the whole mess with the update to PC and what. What exactly is going on there?
you mean the one that got reverted?
Yeah, they've already rolled back.
Didn't quite get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
just assume we have varying levels of tech savvy here, and I think that's the same for our audience. Just run it through it, just really quick.
I'll just assume I'm trying to explain Marvel 2 to Alex here.
Yeah.
I don't know how you understood Third Strike that well, really.
Look, you can press one big button slowly. Marvel 2 had all right, so you launch and then you do these 5 buttons in a sequence, and then when you slam them, you do this. Whereas Third Strike is look at this big boot.
Sure, fine. All right. So, starting from a basic standpoint, I'll assume you know nothing about computer security, so I'll use the analogy that's used all over the place. Okay? If you treated your computer like it's a castle, you have the first line of defense, which is the moat, and you have the drawbridge that you can let down over the moat to let some things in and get rid of most other things, right? That's your firewall, which is just outright reject lots of stuff. Then after that, you have the knights standing in the vestibule, and I get to use all kinds of words for this, that are checking over all the people that came across the drawbridge and telling some to go in and stabbing some in the chest and throwing them into the moat. That's your virus scanner, right? So your firewall is just outright reject a whole bunch of stuff. And then the virus scanner is, okay, let's check the things that were ostensibly okayed and see which ones are actually approved. And then after that, you have the spies walking around in the castle watching what people are doing and, poisoning people that are saying the wrong things or whatever. That's kind of the administrative level. I don't even remember what they call it anymore because every operating system calls it something different. But you run a program and it pops up a little thing that's like, did you really do this? Yes or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It prompts
Yeah.
you.
So
The UAC in Windows 7, since
Yeah,
it's probably the most common.
UX, that's right.
Yeah.
Or no, user access control. Yes, there we go. So you have all of these things in place to try to prevent your computer from running anything that you really didn't want it to run, right? So when you're writing a virus, what you really want is an exploit, which means you find some problem in the user access control, or you find some problem in a program somewhere that will let you run whatever code as you want as the administrator of the computer, which is the person who doesn't have to go through any of those checks, right? There's always one account that's the administrator, because if you don't have that, then you can't make changes to the protected parts. So they're basically the king. They can walk around and say, build a wall here, or whatever. Bring this woman to the moat. That kind of thing. So there's always one account on every computer that has that privilege. And in every operating system, no matter where you are, on the PlayStation, on your PC, on a Mac, in Linux, anywhere, the goal of any kind of nefarious activity is to be able to run code with the privileges of that administrator or that super user. Okay, because once you can do that, nothing checks what you're doing anymore, right? If you can put on a king mask and go outside and deliver burgers to people in guise of the king, then, boy, that fell really flat. If you haven't played Sneak King, it's actually more fun than you think.
Oh God,
no! So your goal is to become the administrator, and then nothing will ask you any questions, and then you can do whatever you want. You can go through all the files on the computer, you can delete everything on the hard drive, you can make that computer act as a zombie and send out packets to deny service to some other site. You can do whatever you want. You have successfully compromised the system. So there are these, when you find an exploit, you can write what is called a rootkit. So it's called root because root access was like on the early operating systems, root access meant that you are the super user, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. You start at the root. So a rootkit is basically something that will allow anyone to act as the administrator or the super user, and it's like the holy grail of nefarious activities. Right? If you're a script kiddie, which is a derogatory term for a hacker that doesn't actually know what they're doing, they just take somebody else's exploit and write bad software that uses a thing they didn't find. You want root access, you want to be able to do all of those kinds of things. So like getting root access is the thing you want, and it is hard to do generally. When an exploit is found, it is closed by the software manufacturer or Microsoft or whoever, and each of these holes that is found is held onto by hackers for as long as possible so that the security exploit doesn't get closed, right? Mm-hmm. So generally you assume that programs that you install on your computer have either not interacted with the security system at all, like TextPad, which doesn't really care, or have been thoroughly researched and won't be providing any new problems, like, say, your antivirus program. So what Capcom included in that update in Street Fighter V was basically the equivalent of building a new permanent bridge across the moat that goes in through one of the windows of the castle and ends up in the throne room. So basically what it did was it installed a new driver on your computer. So a driver is any piece of software that talks to a device. Like your keyboard has a driver, your cell phone, if you plug it in, has a driver, your microphone has a driver, and the driver is the piece of software that tells your computer how do you talk to this thing, right? So the driver knows this information coming in from the hardware means this thing, and then we'll output it as audio, and then the computer just goes, okay, driver, give me the new audio, and then your microphone works. So it installed a new device driver, which if it weren't already going to be suspicious, this driver was randomly named. So instead of always being named the same thing, it picked a pseudo-random number or a pseudo-random string and named itself that, which is like kind of shady right there, right? That's behavior that viruses usually adopt because they don't want to be found. And if you call yourself a different thing all the time, then it's harder to find you. So it installed the pseudo-randomly named driver, and what that driver did was wait for one of a couple of special codes to be passed to it, and along with some data. And then if it got the right code, it checked the size of the data to make sure that it fit in the space that the driver was allocated for it, and then it ran whatever you passed it as the administrator. So it disabled all of the security checks, ran that code as you gave it to the driver, and then put all the security checks back. So instead of a potential virus writer having to find an exploit in a program and, you know, gain control of your operating system and then do something, all the virus writer would have to do is like, does this computer have Street Fighter V? Cool. Find this driver, send it the code that I want to run that will delete everything on your hard drive, and then it runs.
Oh, man.
So that, I mean, there are a bunch of problems with this. Oh, so to finish the story.
A bunch.
Their next update did indeed unregister the driver, but it didn't get rid of the file that the driver was based on. So another program could be written to go and re-register this driver, and it would still be there. The next update prevents Street Fighter V from installing the driver if it wasn't already installed, and renders it inert. But it still leaves all the information on your hard drive for it to work. And if you want to get rid of that, you have to do that yourself.
Wow, that's
so there's
savory.
So there is actually a sticky on the Street Fighter V Steam site, or it's not really a site, but like their Steam page.
Yeah, the community page.
Yeah, there's actually a sticky written by a user telling people to go how to go and get rid of this file because Capcom didn't tell you how to do it or do it.
I mean, they also didn't quite admit exactly what they did either.
Nope. And it's been covered in several news sites, but it was just like Capcom rolls back buggy driver, and it's like, no, it's not buggy. It was intentionally written to do this because what they wanted to do was the point of them writing this was for them to be able to run anti-cheat software. So they needed to be able to run software as the administrator that would basically monitor the memory that Street Fighter V was using, and if a cheat program changed any of it, to shut the game down or whatever, right? There are other ways to do this that do not require running code as an administrator, such as adding this functionality to your game engine. But I'm not exactly sure why they chose to do it this way. This is a very roundabout way of doing things. It's like saying, boy, I wish we had some cookies. And then instead of, I'm going to go to the store and buy some cookies, it was, I'm going to call my grandma and have her bake some and then send them to me by horseback.
Yeah, and then have her break,
it wouldn't occur to most people.
House.
Yeah. It wouldn't occur to most people, right?
So the basic idea behind them doing this was to kind of prevent people from, dicking around with, hitbox or hitbox viewer stuff that we have already. And then the idea that they had was if I'm not mistaken, their in-game shop has been a shit mess since it's been deployed.
Yes, because they don't have any security on it at all. And the thing with the fight money, where you could send the server multiple requests that just said, I cleared survival mode, and it was supposed to give me 100 million fight money. And you could send it as many times as you wanted because they didn't validate it on the server at all. Their security in general and their treatment of data handling has been completely abysmal, which is not entirely surprising because they're not like a cybersecurity corporation. But on the other hand, if you're going to do something like this, you talk to somebody who knows what they're doing and have them do it for you. Right? The server, the fight money thing, if you're going to implement that for real, the way that you implement it is on the server side, you have, I can accept from a user that they cleared survival mode, right? All the user would say is, I cleared survival mode. You don't have to encrypt that packet if you don't really want. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Because the server would say, okay, they cleared survival mode. That means they get 1,000 fight money or whatever it is, right? Rather than having them tell me how much money they get, the server knows what clearing survival mode means. And also, the server would keep a record of when was the last time they cleared survival mode. And, oh, okay, it was 4 seconds ago. That's not possible. Right? So I should reject this request. Survival mode is a minimum length of time, even if you're really good at it, right? And you can assume that it will take longer than, say, 4 minutes. So you could limit the number of those requests to accept one every 4 minutes and don't let the user tell me how much they made. And then, sure, you could cheat and game the system, but you would only be doing it slightly faster than actually playing survival mode, right? And none of that is hackable because the server is the one paying attention to the limits. But instead what they did was, it was an unsecured connection, and every time the user said, I cleared survival mode, not only did they tell the server they cleared survival mode, they also told the server how much money they were supposed to make from it.
Wow.
It's like going to the bank with a blank paycheck. It's like,
yes.
I worked 2 hours today and this is supposed to be $10 million, please.
Yeah.
It's you going to the bank and saying to the teller, hello, I don't have anything in my account, but or it's just you saying to the teller, "This is my account number. I have $10 million in there. Please give it to me." And the teller says, "Okay."
Yeah. This is on the end of the up.
Yeah, I mean,
why would he lie?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, because they aren't thinking about what happens if people actually spoof this, right? They're just thinking about how do I make this work. So the anti-cheat thing, the brilliant part about that is the driver that they installed on your computer could be used by people who wrote clever software to disable Capcom's own anti-cheat thing, because you can run any code as administrator. So the code that you could run as the administrator would be kill all the anti-cheat process that Capcom is running, and also incidentally go into Street Fighter V's memory and make me invincible every frame. Like, it wasn't going to do what they really wanted to do, because there are smart people out there, and if there are smart people out there, you have to actually make it impossible for them to do the thing they want. So there's the concept. Basically, all of the things that they've done so far with regards to networking, there's a concept in computer security called security through obscurity. Okay, which basically means this is not secure, but I'm not going to tell anyone that. Right?
Yeah.
You can go around back of my house and I won't lock the second window on the third floor, but I'm not going to tell anyone that. And no one's going to figure it out. And this is a completely derided and awful thing to do in security, because it is not secure.
Yeah.
This is very common in all types of security. Security through obscurity is not actually security at all. And it is the only type of security that they've ever actually practiced in all of SF5 so far. Right? We're not going to tell anyone how this works, so no one's ever going to figure out how this works, rather than actually securing it in any way. The disheartening part of this for me is not everybody looks at this and goes, okay, they did something stupid, people found it out, and then they rolled it back. Good on them for rolling it back. Sure, good on them for rolling it back. But you have to remember that this thing that is basically what every single nefarious person in the world would want to be on your computer, that is installed without telling the user anything about that it's happening, or why it's there, or identified in any way, and the user is not given any opportunity to not make it install. This thing was paid for, written, and approved by Capcom.
Yeah.
Which means, well, it means one of two things. It either means that the people there knew what the risks were and approved of it anyway, or more likely it means that no one there had any idea what they were doing except for the one guy who wrote the software to do the thing, and then he said to everybody, look, it does this, and they all said, good job.
You did it.
Like,
Man.
This is embarrassing for any company to have done, and it should be a huge deal. Like, the last time anything like this happened, I mean, you're all old enough to remember this, I'm sure, was it the Britney Spears CD that like installed software on your computer to prevent you from copying the CD if you put it into your computer?
Oh, it was Sony, right? Who did that for several different albums.
Okay, I only knew the Britney one.
How would you know that? That's what I want to know.
Oh my god.
That's a banger, man. We don't judge.
Computer security, thank you very much. Because the rest of the story is, once people figured out that was what was happening, you took a Sharpie and you ran it around the edge of the CD, and it made the last track not readable, and then you could play it on your computer and rip everything except for the last track, because you made the track that was installing the software unreadable. Like, again, security through obscurity. As soon as people figured out what it was, people very easily figured out how to get rid of it, because it wasn't actually secure at all.
Yeah, that's
like, there are game design things about Street Fighter V I don't like. Those I'm not really going to complain about, because every fighting game is different, and as long as you have fun with it, I don't care. There are provably wrong things about Street Fighter V that I don't like, that I will complain about, such as unskippable win poses costing you 15% of the matches that you could be playing just because you can't skip them. or not giving player 2 any kind of post-match control, etc., etc. Those are all things that we know it does wrong, and we don't know why, and we don't know why they're not fixing it. But this is like a whole different level of messing up. This is not input lag. This is not poor design. This is straight up ignorance, giving malicious people possible access to your machine without telling you anything about it, and without you having any way to stop them, and without the vast majority of people who own this game even knowing what that means.
Yeah, actually, I kind of wanted to point out for a moment, since you brought up the fact that it was a user that ultimately brought up the instructions on how to delete the file that goes into the computer once the
stuff that's left over.
Yeah. So basically, all the stuff that's like on kernel level. It actually is pretty different depending on the OS that you have. So let's just say Windows is the most common one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Windows 7 apparently was relatively easy to do. Windows 10, however, you had to go in and do it as an administrator, like commit the action as an administrator, which means you had to right click, do as admin, but you had to do that in safe mode, which for a lot of people that have Windows 10 probably don't fucking know how to get into safe mode because it's actually a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Because it boots so damn fast, and the usual idea of like I just mash a button during the startup doesn't work.
Yeah.
So for some people out there, that file might still be there because they actually can't delete it easily, and there's no immediate reference brought from Capcom's end from anyone, like it could be fucking Matt Dahlgren, it could be Combo Fiend, anyone manning the Twitter account for that day could just tell us, do this to get rid of the crap that we put on your computer. Instead, we're leaving it up to the user end. And, it's like, yeah, that's great that they're doing it, but we could also have the same kind of jackass to be like, okay, here's how you delete the file, start in safe mode, run as administrator. Once you delete that file, delete system 32, and you're good to go.
Yeah, well, never delete system 32.
Yeah, I mean, I said, yeah.
Anyone who's actually listening.
Yeah, don't ever do that. Yeah.
I had to think about that for a second.
The ironic part of this is, if that driver were already installed on your computer, since it has the power to run any code as administrator, you could write a very small utility that would send the code to that driver to delete all the files you wanted.
That's pretty funny.
You would have to make a copy of them and do some other things because you're trying to delete the file that the driver references, but it's totally possible to do that.
So, questions I have about this is that, so this happened, right? Capcom pushed out a patch that installed this, malicious driver or whatever.
Possibly malicious. I mean,
well, yeah, I guess
distinction between evil and stupid. Okay?
Right.
It is easily possible to use this for evil, but it was done out of stupidity.
It's a gun. It's just basically it's a gun.
Essentially what I was wondering though is that could this happen to any of the games I have on Steam or something that automatically updates? Is there anything protecting us at the user level other than just like a virus scanner or something to stop this?
Well, I mean, a lot of scanners caught it. Mine caught it. So
yeah, well, because it was an unsigned driver that was attempting to be installed by software that did not directly interact with the user. I mean, virus scanners in general, if they're good, will catch something trying to do this because it looks like a virus. This is a thing that a virus would do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but to answer your other question, since I have a game on Steam, and I know what it takes to update it, no, there is nothing on Valve's end that protects you from any of this, because in order to make the patching process as easy as possible on Steam, and for which developers are hugely thankful, the way the patching process works is, rather than on console where the patch goes through tons of testing and everything like that, because Sony and Microsoft want to look really good and they want to be able to give people some amount of confidence, and also Sony and Microsoft specifically want to not have anyone be able to crack their consoles, right? They don't want you to be able to jailbreak it. On Steam, the approval process is they check your game over for some basic things, and then once your game is up, a patch is, I hit build, then I hit deploy, and then it is available to everybody and goes out. So Steam puts the onus of responsibility on
the
developers
all
and
on
users.
you, I imagine. If anything goes wrong, they're just like, hey, he put it out,
Yeah, I mean, the other part of that is if a developer puts something out that irrevocably harms users. The developer will be blamed for it, and it will be super bad for you.
Yeah.
That said, if I put format C into the startup of Skullgirls, you wouldn't know. Like,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
If the Team Fortress team decided to put a thing in that installed something silently in the background and then went through all your Gmail history and found your bank account info and sent it all to, spy@valve.com, they could do it. There is nothing stopping that. The trust is between you and the developer.
So you're saying that if let's say the Team Fortress team decided to do that, would we be calling it Origin at this point, or yeah?
I missed that one. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, would we be calling it Origin, like EA's platform that apparently tries to capture all your data, from what I heard from the initial release?
Yeah, I mean, the PCs, like, this is what virus scanners are for, right? PCs, at this point, the security responsibility is up to the user. I just realized that I should really turn the projector off, so I'm turning it off. Some of it is up to the developer being trustworthy, which most people that make games that actually want you to buy the games are going to try to be trustworthy, because otherwise you're not going to buy their games again.
Right.
Some of it is not jumping in over your head. Like, the other part of this is that even if they had structured this driver better and done all the other things, for a lot of people, like you said, your virus scanner caught it, right? Because it was trying to do something that a virus would do.
Right.
So for those people, when your virus scanner catches it and forbids you from installing this unsigned, randomly named driver, that anti-cheat functionality doesn't work. So it didn't even accomplish its initial purpose.
So basically, it was telling you either install this potentially harmful product or you just don't play the game, because it needs
I'm pretty
to start
sure
up, right?
you could still play it even without that install.
So what didn't even accomplish that? Wow.
I mean, if they had done the thing where if you didn't install the driver, the game would start, that would be even more awful. But I don't see them doing that. That's not smart. I mean, none of this is hugely smart, but it is sobering to remember that you are placing a great deal of trust about your machine in the hands of the people that are writing software that you are installing. Like, once you install SF5 or, Exert or whatever else, you are assuming that those developers are not going to maliciously or stupidly do something to endanger your machine. So to me, it's the developer's responsibility to not do something maliciously or stupidly to endanger the user's machine.
Well, this probably isn't a question for you and more for David or something, but I would imagine that's leaving them wide open for some kind of litigation, like if they even alter anything that they didn't mention overtly, and it has nothing to do with you playing Street Fighter 5,
I'm pretty sure that you'd have to be able to claim damages. I'm also pretty sure that there would have to be enough money coming from somebody to fund the suit in the first place.
That's true. Yeah, I guess if they just bricked your C drive, it's it's only $100. Here you go.
Well, or it's everything that you ever had in your entire life because you've never upgraded your computer. So also the punitive damages would be much higher than the actual physical damages.
The sentimental value is through the roof.
Yep. All those pictures of your cats. Or someone else.
Deleted all my animes.
With the way that cybersecurity's been going around, I remember hearing an NPR article about people getting locked out of their files, essentially having to pay ransom on their data, and these people end up actually paying thousands, ten thousands of dollars just to get their data back. So obviously, it has a lot of value to the user itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's your unique thing, and if you weren't backing it up somewhere, then it's worth whatever that object would really be worth to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There was the Apple Music thing a while ago where Apple Music was scanning your hard drives and computing a checksum for all of your files or all of your music files, and then deleting the local version if it was a music file that it thought it had on a server, So there were people that had things like the original, like, uncompressed WAV file at super high quality of songs that they wrote that had been released on iTunes, and Apple Music went through and deleted those original recordings because the compressed MP3 was present on Apple Music already.
Yeah,
That's awful.
Yeah, didn't they also just whatever MP3 file was on there, it would upload to Apple Music and then delete from your computer?
Yes, it would take it as a WAV file, and if it didn't already exist, it would take it as a WAV file, it would compress it to MP3, and then it would upload it to Apple Music and then delete it from your computer.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Pretty ridiculous.
The thing is, the people that make this stuff aren't considering the use case, the edge cases. They're just considering the common use case, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, this dude's got this song, so we can totally save him a ton of space by just doing this. And then also we own it, and he has to pay us to get it back because that's how we work. But like, they're not considering the edge cases of, well, what if this is a unique recording, or what if there was something in the middle of it that other songs didn't have? What if it had an extended ending? What if the checksum just happened to match anyway, because checksums make it a very low probability of matching a different file, but it's non-zero.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you can think about a checksum as, if you wrote out your whole name, so you write out, Shin Mecha MacGyver is the best ever, and I will destroy everybody at third strike, Sanchez. Then each of those letters has an ASCII value of 0 through 25, right? A is 92. It's not 92, but let's say it is, and then like lowercase a is like 140.
Yeah.
So you take the value of those bytes and you add them all up, and then you do some other crazy math, and you end up with a number. And that number is not necessarily unique to just your name, but it is not common to any of the names that look like yours or that are close to yours. And if your dispersion is good, then it's not common to a vast majority of names that don't look anything like yours. But as long as there are a finite number of hashes, let's say there are 2 billion hashes, right? As soon as the 2 billion and first person puts their name in, even if you haven't had anything else match, they will match someone else's by virtue of the fact that there aren't more than 2 billion numbers available. Right? So you can't, like, this is how error checking and stuff on the internet also works, which is why sometimes you still do get files with errors, although the rate is very low. It's still possible, because if probability works out just right, it can assume that the erroneous thing is the correct thing. Like, you have to know a decent amount in order to write things like networking or drivers or memory checkers or other types of things that are considered fairly advanced programming. I mean, you have to know a decent amount to like make a projectile hit a moving target, right? And that's not even like cybersecurity or anything, because if you write that wrong, the only thing that happens is your rocket misses and somebody gets upset.
Perturbed, even.
Yeah, I mean, in a game, not a real rocket. If a real rocket misses, a couple of people get upset.
Yeah.
Yes. There's nobody left to be upset. Yeah, like, the thing that scares me about all of this is that they thought it was okay to do. Someone somewhere thought that this was okay to do, then did it, then nobody else either asked or knew enough about it to ask someone who knew more, to say possibly this is a bad idea and might make us look really bad, and also might put every single computer we put this on at huge risk. Like, having nothing at all to do with the game, the user experience, the fact that they haven't added direct input support for PC yet, none of that stuff. This thing should be enough for every single PC owner of Street Fighter V to uninstall the game, because it shows that they should not be trusted with your PC.
It'd be kind of hard to come back from that. I think at this point, like, I uninstalled before it even updated, hearing about this, because I didn't want to deal with it. Obviously, I'm not so scared that I won't reinstall later on. I still think that it's a good game that can grow. But yeah, man, like, I don't think I could ever tell somebody, like, oh yeah, give it another chance, you know?
I mean, yeah, like, the sad thing is that this update came with some other things that indicate that the design team actually does care. Right? They lowered the input lag. It's still hugely unacceptable, but it's less than it was.
It's an effort,
actually-
which is more than the
they
before
did
that they're just
something.
saying.
Yeah,
We're looking
exactly.
into it for the past couple months.
They included the extra Urian alt by using the third strike button combination. Like, that's pretty cool, and that shows that somebody on their end actually gives a crap, right? But the problem is, this part doesn't have anything to do with those people, right?
Yeah.
This is the same level as, like, they decided to write their own networking code, so all of the lag gets shoved onto the person with the better computer, right? Rather than just using GGPO. Like, this is, they think it's a simpler problem than it actually is. They solve it most of the way, but not all the way, and then they shove the results onto everybody else, and you just kind of have to deal with it. Like, this problem, this rootkit basically doesn't have anything to do with the designers, and it doesn't have anything to do with the producers, but it does have to do with the company, and it does have to do with the product, and whether you should trust that company with your hardware. Like,
No, I
that's a
think-
huge deal to me.
Here's the question I kind of have, and you probably, I don't know that anybody can actually answer this, but is this a lack of knowledge on Capcom's part, or a lack of caring, or both?
Both. I mean, it's, do you know what the
disheartening.
Dunning-Kruger effect is? I'm sure this has been mentioned to death everywhere. So if you look it up, the Dunning-Kruger effect is basically, the less you know about something, the more likely you are to think that there isn't very much to know about that thing. Right?
Yeah.
I've never written networking before, but I have written some other things. Networking can't be that hard, etc.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's the scrub mentality defined as a psychiatric term.
Oh, neat.
Psychological.
Yeah.
Right. So this is that, right? This is, hey, I figured out a way to prevent cheating, regardless of the fact that Valve anti-cheat already exists, but we're not going to use that. And we don't have to modify the game engine at all, and it will detect any instances of cheating. And this is probably secure enough. In my, hour of examining this, or in my week of studying computer security, couldn't figure out anything. Like, you'd have to be really smart to figure out how this thing worked and exploit it. So it's fine, right? The people who were supposed to know didn't know or didn't care, and the people who weren't necessarily supposed to understand it trusted those people or that person. Right? We don't know if it was more than one person. I based on what was written, I assume it was not. But like, it is a lack of knowledge by people who should have the knowledge, and it's a level of trust in those people that didn't have the knowledge that was not warranted from the people who didn't already have the knowledge. Right? If you're the president of, I guess the president of Capcom probably doesn't really care, although they should. But they don't care about like the patch for Street Fighter V. They would just get, we fixed the cheating problem. All right, guys, that's great. Like the producer of SF5 should care and trusted the networking programmers and the security programmers that they hired to do this. And when they asked them, is this the right thing to do? They said yes. So it's mostly a lack of knowledge and a lack of caring by the people who did it. It's less a lack of caring by the people who were responsible for that because they trusted that those people would do the right thing. If you write games, write the game. If you don't work in computer security or know anything about operating systems or have any kind of like black hat background or anything, find someone who does if you want to write something like this. If you're jumping out of your depth, find somebody who's already been there. I mean, this was really scary. Like, the reason they made a big deal about this is because there have been a lot of other things that they have done with the game that are dumb, or like less effort than they should be putting in. But this was like unforgivably bad.
This is pretty much I don't know how to say it. It's essentially, FUBAR. It's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, they rolled it back because somebody realized, hey, this was really a big deal. But like, this type, like, whatever, you want to screw up the game, you want to change the gameplay, you want to not fix all the other problems that are user experience and whatever else, that's fine. When you get to the level of actually compromising the security of the owner's machine, that is unforgivable to me. You should never actually reach that level. And if you do it accidentally, like if there's some buffer overrun in your software somewhere, fine. You should have been using better protected functions, but if you chose not to, then like, okay, that's a mistake I can see people making. This was intentional. Like, I don't
feel your frustration.
I don't want to run you ragged on it, but we do have some questions from the audience if that's going to make you feel better.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you want to field a few.
Let me finish my one sentence.
Okay.
So, I don't even care if you still want to play Street Fighter V, but if you still want to play Street Fighter V, you should go get a PS4.
Yeah.
I would not trust this to my PC anymore.
That is real talk.
Plus, PS4 is tournament standard for the game.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there are lots of other reasons to use one or the other. I mean, PS4 supports PS3 sticks and the Windows version doesn't. But,
Yeah.
like,
Really?
This
doesn't.
Yeah, they've never added direct input support, which, by the way, comes with SDL2, which comes with the engine that they used.
I didn't know it was that easy.
There's still no keyboard rebinding at all.
Jesus.
Training mode still forgets your settings, etc., etc. That's not PC exclusive. I mean, all the other things aside, if you still want to play Street Fighter V after this, honestly, I would switch. I would not keep this on my PC. And this is because I'm going to get a ton of comments after this that are like, you made Skullgirls, it didn't sell, whatever, you're mad at this game. Skullgirls sold just fine. Look at Steam Spy. 700 and something thousand owners. Anyway, I'm not even telling you to stop playing SF5. I am telling you that if you at all care about your computer and you want to show Capcom that this was as big a deal as it was, you should start playing it on PS4 and you should not keep it on your PC.
All
right, go ahead.
So, questions. We've got Clawmaster asking, how is Indivisible coming along?
Wow, that's a shit.
Pretty direct.
Yep. Well, look, there was more to it, but he said Kappa, and I refused to read that part. So, how's Indivisible coming along, Mike?
Well, wait. He said Kappa after how's Indivisible coming along?
No, prior to that.
I put the tweet up on the stream, by the way, so that
He wants
the
Fukuoka
audience
to
can
have
read it.
he wants Fukuoka to have 2 fireballs, and then he said it
Oh,
facetiously.
jeez. Okay. Right. Indivisible is actually coming along really well. We have not streamed lately, which I apologize for because we've been working on a bunch of stuff that's spoilers. Like, it's weird to work on a game that has like plot things and things you want to keep secret, because with a fighting game it's like, man, we drew a frame with a new character, check it out.
Nice.
With Indivisible, it's like, hey, this thing is like 3/4 of the way through the game and we don't want to show people what it is before the game comes out, so we just can't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
Okay. So we hired a new person that most of the people in the Skullgirls community would know, Midi Man, because he is a good level designer. He is in his probationary period right now, so he has to wear an ankle bracelet and report to us every day by 4 p.m. He seems to be doing really well. We are doing some more pre-production stuff, like figuring out final character designs and final plot for some of the areas. Ajna has a ton more abilities, and I'm not sure what else I can actually say. I mean, the answer is it's going really well. I can say this: choosing UI middleware is horribly awful. I have been so we had Otter UI on Skullgirls, which was a moderate nightmare to work with, but we ended up with the full source to the tool, and it was extremely cheap. I think actually for Skullgirls it was free because we knew the person who was making it and they wanted more publicity for their UI middleware. So we made the whole game with that. We have dealt with a nightmare on that. Main 6 is currently dealing with that same nightmare. Sorry, everyone. We have been evaluating other UI middleware that is made by large companies, and they charge lots of money, like upwards of 30K, which way upwards of 30K, but I'm just going to pull that number out because it has nothing to do with what they're actually charging. Upwards of 10K even is too much. And this stuff is less usable than Otter in a lot of ways, which has been the most surprising thing for us. Period.
That's pretty. Wow.
Yeah, like it's and the tech support is like literally the worst tech support experience I have ever had for any product. And they're trying to get us to use their middleware.
Damn.
Like, hey guys, try this out. And we're like, okay, you want us to pay you a giant amount of money for this. How about helping us get it to work? And then just no responses, unhelpful responses.
kinda like,
it took an actual month for us to get an answer.
Damn. Working on it.
Yeah. So Indivisible is going pretty well. UI middleware is off. I will make sure that we actually put out some kind of update soon, because I know that we haven't for a long time, but it's really difficult to come up with spoiler-free things to say if all you're working on is spoiler stuff.
You can spoil us on this one thing, because like me and Gibby a little while ago, in fact a year ago, asked you, because I gave you a burger at SCR 2014, could we be sprites in your game? Could be burger, just
Can
be
you
burger
be
merchants.
NPCs?
Just be like burger merchants, man. I don't care.
Yeah, I still talk about how you were one of the nicest people that I ever met, because like you just walked by and I was like, man, those look good, and you were like, here, have one.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
That, people have like proposed to me, people have drawn me things, people have propositioned me. That hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it will. Just you giving me a burger was like at that moment was one of the nicest things that anyone could ever hope to have happen to them. Because like I hadn't eaten and I'd been dealing with crap all day, and those just
you look like you
so
needed
good.
one real bad.
Yeah, and you reached down from on high, because that's where you stand. And we're like, here, brother, have a good burger.
That's exactly what he sounds like.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been working on my hell pocket. I
want to ask another question. This is from a person we've had on our show before, DJ Cream. He asks, when was the last time you played Jug Doomtron?
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Nice.
Basically, whenever I see Marvel 2, I will play it. That's every Marvel player does the same thing. Every Thursday.
I'm pretty sure for Mike, it's the exact thing where like you walk past like a Marvel machine, you just like hear the music, and you're like, don't mind if I do.
Oh, it's things like I'll be walking outside along a street, and from like 2 blocks away, I'll hear like and I'll be like, I'm going over that way. Right?
Echolocation, he just hears it in the distance.
You're in a movie theater getting to go into the world premiere of some movie that you've never seen, that you waited on tickets for like 6 weeks, and from across the plaza you hear, hey, and you're just like, I'll be 5 minutes late.
Yeah. 5 minutes, right?
Send me a text when the credits are done.
Yeah. When the credits are over.
Yeah, when they warn us to turn off the cell phones, just
right. Text me right after that. Yeah. Get yourself thrown out so I can go into the theater. I'll play Marvel wherever I see it, and obviously by Marvel I mean the one with super jumps and air damage.
There's Marvel, and then there's Marvel, like the one with
Marvel.
Yes.
Yeah, I still play it. I also do lots of research in it. Like, nobody knew how super armor really worked until a couple days ago.
Holy shit,
I asked
really?
Mike Nitro to do some more research into it, and he was very helpful.
Nice. When are we gonna get the NorCal SoCal battle? We'll just have like Rim Rattler versus Mike Z, just doing crazy armor, just swinging at each other.
The Rim Rattler.
The Rim Rattler.
There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
His only training buddy is Tyram. So
I mean, the online's kind of not great.
I think he plays with Spider Dan still.
Yeah, he does offline. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we got another question from friend of the show, Ace King Offsuit, and he asked
from Ace Master 68, huh?
Ace Master. Do you think there will ever be a point where you say Skullgirls is done and there are no more changes?
Yes, in fact, this patch will be that thing.
Oh, we're gonna finally get foray into a regular scintillating heavens each day?
I can't believe you either read or remembered that.
Thank you, Anthony.
So I think it was never ending because it was supposed to spell finish, right?
Yeah.
Oh my! Wow. All right. Yeah. So the deal with this patch is we promised lobbies on console. So we promised two things that turned out to be a bad idea. The first one was a Vita version because that console is incredibly underpowered and sold incredibly poorly. And we have heard from a lot of people that the Vita version of SG is one of the best Vita games that they've played, which says a lot about the quality of Vita games.
Jesus.
But also, like, it's not possible for, if we sold one to every Vita owner, it's still not enough to, like, worthwhile. That port took 3.5 extra months of almost full time from me and one other person. And, like, if you want to know why lobbies aren't done yet, that port is why. Seriously. Like, that was a terrible idea. And we're still going to update it because it's still going to get patched because it has crossplay. But, like, oh. You don't even know. And then that console is, like, half as good as they actually tell you.
No, yeah, no, I've seen it, man. Like when you play a game, like I play East. I play a lot of East games. And so they put an East game out on Vita, and then they ported that to the Chinese ported that to the PC version, right? Mm-hmm. And the PC version, you know, it doesn't really look amazing, but like the level of detail that is available in that version versus what's on the Vita version, and you're like, wait a minute, these are the exact same screenshots that we got from this game when it first came out versus when it actually came out, you know? Mm-hmm. And it feels like they just ported like the pre-release version to PC. Like they literally released the freaking dev version on PC.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the experience was, yeah, the Vita has 512 megs of main RAM and 256 megs of VRAM, and we were like, sick. That's more than the PS3. We can, like, the character files are all smaller because the Vita screen is way smaller, so we can downsize everything. Mm-hmm. So, like, we can just fit it all in memory, and it'll be great. And then we wrote it like that, and it ran, and then we sent it to Sony, and they were like, hey, it doesn't work on the test kit. And we were like, why not? And they sent us a form letter that was basically explaining, oh yeah, so it has 512 megs of main RAM, but you only get like 210.
Because the rest of it's dedicated to operating system.
Well, the rest of it's dedicated to backgrounded apps. And then like we got really lucky.
What is that shit?
We got really lucky because when we were almost done with everything, they added the thing to the Vita OS where your game can say don't allow backgrounded apps. Ooh, and you get back like 140 megs. And then it was like, now it can work. Yeah, that's great.
Good.
But, okay, so the Vita version was, I will admit, we should never have promised that. We did it, but like, man. And then Lobbies is very, very, very delayed as a result of that. But like, this is the last patch for SG. I mean, maybe if I feel like doing something a year after this, like pair play or whatever, I will do that in my spare time, but there won't be any more balance changes or anything because SG is no longer my job. Mm-hmm. Like, Indivisible is my job. So now I'm doing another whole round of beta changes and pissing off all the Fukua players. Shut up. And everything because she's a really boring character and I want to make her less boring. But this is all time that's outside of work. This is all time that's me not sleeping, and like I'm basically doing 2 jobs at this point. Only one of them is not my actual job. So like this is it. Like I can't handle this for too much longer.
I hear that.
So yes, the point is after this patch, that's it. So if I ruin the game with this one, that's what we get.
That actually puts game development for fighting games in a very interesting perspective that I never thought about. It's like, I'm tired. This is the last version.
Oh, well, I mean, if somebody came back and said after Indivisible, like, hey, you want to do another Skullgirls patch? We'll actually pay you for this one. Like, I would
hell yeah, man. Better do it.
Nah, man. We ain't. Oh, man, I'm not getting paid. I like sleep. I like changing the game. I like fixing things. I mean, my goal for this patch is, number one, make it more balanced, right? There are certain things for certain characters that are really, really good. And then Robo Fortune was not really balanced before she came out, so she ended up kind of crappy. So the number 1 goal is make everything more balanced. The number 2 goal is make everything less boring. So I am fixing things that are boring, whether or not that was all that people playing the character enjoyed about them, which has been the case with at least one thing. And then I'm also trying to make it more fun by emphasizing unique things that each character has. So like making Valentine's green vial more useful, making her backdash air dash more useful, making Squiggly's center stage work in the corner, like do things to each character that means that you use their unique stuff more often, make Fortune actually able to like walk her head around. I want to fix Beowulf's hype so that it becomes like more of a part of the character like Order Sol, but that's like the last major thing that I have left. We did a bunch of new intros because Skullgirls Mobile actually paid the animators to do that because they get to use them in mobile. Like, it'll be a pretty good patch whenever it actually gets released. But that'll be it.
Okay. Had a good one.
I should finally go back and maybe learn a character other than Cerebella.
Alright. I mean, the other thing is I'm looking forward to playing the game. Like, I like to do that, and I don't really have time to do that except at Salty because all I'm doing is working on it.
Yeah. I remember seeing, like, going up, I don't remember what room it was, but it was just like Skullgirls Suite or whatever at EVO like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, everybody's playing, everyone's hanging out. I look over at you, Mike, and you're having a conversation with someone, and at the same time you're coding. I'm just like, well, I guess this is what his life has become.
Yeah, pretty much. It never ends. Everywhere I go, people are like, hey, the game's neat. Also, can you change this thing? And then I have to sit them down and be like, let me explain to you why I'm not going to do that.
You're telling me that if I play a solo character, I don't get 10 meter? Come on, dude.
No,
Some old
Solo's
bullshit.
got a lot of buffs.
All right.
Do we have
What
any
else?
last questions?
We do have questions, but I mean, if you got time for one more, we got one more. There's actually a bunch more. This is actually we've actually gotten a flood of questions.
Yeah, they
and-
flooded us in the last
sorry.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it's not your fault. It's their fault. I told them this like at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Well, if you want me to answer them really quickly, I can try.
All right.
Guy.
All right. Here's a very quick question from Running Wild. Question for Mike. I backed Skullgirls years ago. When am I getting my Team Fortress 2 hats?
Ask Valve.
Ask Val. There you go.
Good,
Okay.
good answer. Good answer. All right. Next one is from CPT Damon. How has game development changed your view on games as a product?
That's a slightly longer answer, but I will say
3 words.
being in game development has shown me that there are basically 2 types of developers. There are the developers who are making something they really want to make, and then there are the developers who are making something that they really want to sell to a certain group of people. And pretty much everything that I have liked has come out of the group of game developers who are making the thing that they really want to make.
Okay.
That's cool. I dig that. That's how I always assumed that it would be like, actually. The best people to work with are the ones that actually want to create. Holy crap, there's even more of them.
Oh, yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay, so if we want a special Mike Z only episode, be sure to donate to our Patreon.
Donate to our
Those guys get
Patreon.
enough to get that burger back that help
Yeah,
us.
that was a good burger. Like,
The thing with that burger, okay, so that was, for those who don't know, that was an In-N-Out burger that was got. Like, I paid for that burger, right?
Oh, let's put one question. Yeah. In-N-Out burger or Whataburger?
Oh, dude, In-N-Out.
All right, there
Come
we go.
on.
Yeah,
So-
there we go.
There actually is one question. You didn't really answer the question. So are Hell Pockets and I going to be put into Indivisible as NPCs?
I will see if we have other NPC slots left. I'm pretty sure we do because we reserved some for people that I made stupid promises to.
Alright.
So if you bug me about that, like at some point that I'm not going to forget, like right now, then I'll try.
We're
Yes.
just going to link you to this episode like every week.
Yes.
Just send me an email so that I can forward it to everybody else.
All right, excellent.
All
Gibby,
right.
get on
And
that.
be like, look, I said this dumb thing. We got to do this for these guys because otherwise they're both big enough to pick me up.
There you go.
I'm gonna
See,
take
he
that-
understands.
I'm going to take that burger back is what I'm going to do.
Right. Reach down my throat and reconstitute it from particles that have been distributed across the world. Through my anus.
Traveling, man. Huh? I like it.
All right. So do we have any final thoughts, guys?
No. Be sure to follow everybody on the Twitters, including our guest today, Mike Z. He is at Mike Z SEZ. So Mike Z says. He puts up his thoughts and stuff.
Started by James Chen
Yes.
Yeah.
and maintained by James Chen for like 3 years.
Holy
Yes.
crap.
That's why, if you look at the people he follows, it's all, James Chen, Tom Cannon, Tony Cannon. Those are the first people that this account followed. And it made me wonder, like, who is this? This isn't Mike Z. Mike's, and then James like, oh yeah, that's my account. I'm like, why? He needs a Twitter account. So,
and he didn't want to get one, so I told him I'd run it for him.
Yep.
And my favorite part was he said, "Okay, we're totally gonna make you Mike Z says like on the freaking show," and then went to register it, and somebody already had.
Oh.
And he said it out loud. So that's why it is what it is.
Yep. That's why you never do stuff
True
like that.
story.
You just make it, and then you say you're gonna make it.
Like he said it out loud, and then everybody's like, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Nice.
But yeah, be sure to follow Mike there. As always, follow all of us. You see all of our Twitter names on the right-hand side of the screen, or is it the left? I don't know. It's there somewheres.
Every
And
time you follow Gibby, he grows another chest hair. So do it.
this is true. You guys, that sustains me. That keeps me alive. It keeps my heart from just exploding with the cholesterol that's in there. So yeah.
And a big thanks to Mike for coming on and breaking this down for us. So,
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you
Talk
for
a
coming
lot.
on.
I'm
We love
sorry.
you. Love you for coming on.
No, it's fine.
great.
We'd love to have you on again to talk about
anytime.
Indivisible in the
Finish
future
these
when it's
questions,
closer
shit.
to being done.
Yeah.
We want this
If you want
Patreon
to have me
money.
back,
Yes.
if you want to have me back, just ask. But
For sure.
seriously, they have to
Alright.
make enough
Sounds
every
good.
month to buy that burger.
Got it.
I can't come back.
Got it.
Are we
We'll
done?
just send burgers to
Yeah, we are.
Mike.
All
all
right.
right.
I want to say one last thing. Rest in peace, Arnold Palmer.
Yes.
In remembrance for you today, I'm wearing my Robert Landahl shirt, and I also have a can of Arizona Arnold Palmer. This one's for you, buddy.
Oh, there it goes.
And then
You
you
didn't crack one all episode.
And in the same vein, happy birthday, Mike Ross.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
his birthday.
So he's like 14 now? What is it?
He's 15 now.
The greater 14.
Yeah.
He's probably like 45.
I did it. I drank the whole thing.
Wow, nice work.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm also drinking an Arnold Palmer because like I love Arnold Palmer. So
Yeah, he became one of
very
my
good.
favorite drinks. I'm glad the man's an innovator.
Mm-hmm.
He took tea and another thing.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
All right.
Lemonade. I love lemonade.
You take D in another thing, so
All right.
I got a fucking pee.
I was gonna say
Alright.
thanks to Vince Scully for the years of service, but instead we got to go out with the D.
I'd like to thank our guests one more time for coming on Super Desperation Radio. And for everybody here from the show, good night and good luck.
All right, we're clear.